All right, let's get into this. We're about to unpack a story that kicks off with a pretty spectacular failure. But here's the thing. That failure is actually a clue. It's the start of an incredible rabbit hole that leads to this massive, detailed blueprint for how to fix, well, pretty much every major problem we're facing.
And it all starts with this question, right here. Just imagine a really well-thought-out plan designed to solve one of the oldest problems humanity has ever had. A plan that needed a surprisingly tiny amount of cash to get started, and it fell short in the most dramatic way you can imagine. This is where our investigation kicks off.
So let's introduce the project. It was a crowdfunding campaign called End Hunger Now. And right from the get-go, it made this absolutely massive claim. I mean, they weren't just talking about feeding people. They genuinely believed their model could set off a chain reaction that would solve our biggest global issues. A claim like that? Yeah, it definitely gets your attention.
This slide just nails the core problem they were trying to solve. The campaign's whole argument was that the issue isn't a lack of food. It's this insane paradox. We are literally surrounded by more than enough, yet people are starving. So the enemy wasn't scarcity. It was a completely broken and inefficient system for getting food to people.
And this was their big idea. They called it the Sustainable Food Engine, and honestly, on paper, it's kind of brilliant. It's this elegant sell one, give one model. The idea is, once you get it up and running, it could just go on forever without another penny in donations, churning out 2 million healthy meals every single day.
Of course, even a perpetual motion machine needs a little push to get started, right? The campaign did the math and figured out the one critical number, the absolute bare minimum they needed to get the engine turning so they would never have to ask for money ever again. And that number was just $18,000.
And this is where that incredible dream smacks right into a very, very different reality. The grand total they raised was $386. This chart just puts it in such stark contrast. That's a little over 2% of the absolute minimum they needed just to get off the ground.
So where did that money even come from? Well, over the entire life of the campaign, which actually spanned a few years, all the support came from a grand total of just 5 people. 5. It's just this powerful reminder that having a great idea, even a world-changing one, sometimes just isn't enough.
But you know, behind that tiny number were real people who truly believed in this. This quote is from someone who gave $10. They saw the vision, they felt like it could actually work, and they were basically pleading for other people to see it too. There was real hope there, even if it was on a super small scale.
Now, normally, a story like this would just end right there. You know, good idea, didn't work out, the end. But this is where it gets really, really interesting. Because that failure, it's not the end of the story. It's actually the first breadcrumb on a trail that connects this little failed campaign to a much larger universe of ideas.
So let's see how this puzzle starts to come together. On one hand, you have this organization talking about mapping the entire planet and building these futuristic communities. And on the other hand, you have a local project in Jerusalem selling brownies. I mean, they seem like they're from completely different planets, but are they?
But then you start digging a little deeper, and the pieces just start snapping into place. They both use the name Plant Pure. They were both founded in the exact same year, 2021. And here's the real kicker. Their websites were built with the exact same proprietary tool. All of a sudden, the connection is pretty hard to ignore.
So, what is it that connects a huge global blueprint, a local brownie fundraiser, and a failed plan to end world hunger? Well, it all comes down to this one single philosophy. The core argument is that our biggest problems are all built on the live scarcity, the idea that there isn't enough to go around. But the truth, they argue, is that we're actually living in a world of abundance. We're just trying to run it on old, outdated survival software.
Okay, so if the problem is a flawed mindset across the entire planet, where in the world do you even begin to fix it? Well, this is where the theory gets surprisingly practical. The proposed path to world peace doesn't start with a global summit or a treaty. It starts with something you can hold in your hand.
And here it is, the Miracle Bar. Now, this isn't just a snack. It's positioned as a tool, the very first step on what they called the path to peace. The whole idea is you fix your own health first, and that's the entry point to fixing the whole system. And this is the crucial part. The goal isn't just to sell a product, it's to share the recipe and empower people everywhere.
Okay, so you have a nutrition bar. How do you get from that single bar to actually changing the world? Well, the vision zooms out pretty quickly, from focusing on one person to the entire community. and a complete overhaul of how we access food.
And this is the next step. It's a vending machine that has been completely reimagined. It's not for chips and soda, it's a survival hub in a box. It's stocked with healthy, local food, it's a communication hub, and it's part of a mind-boggling plan to deploy 80 million of them around the world, completely transforming how everyone gets food.
So think about it. A network of 80 million machines, a new global food system. I mean, how on earth could you possibly manage all of that? The sheer complexity would be insane for any normal government or company. And this is where the plan shifts from physical stuff to something way more philosophical. It argues that a system this big needs a totally new kind of intelligence to run it. At the very core of this whole plan is a concept they call Q, or quantum intelligence. Now, this is a huge idea, but think of it like this. It's a system designed to merge all our connected devices, the Internet of Things, with powerful AI. But then it adds this fascinating third layer, our collective human consciousness. The end goal is to create a single, benevolent intelligence to basically manage the entire global operation.
Of course, the second you hear all-powerful AI managing the world, your brain probably goes to some dark places, right? So what's the safety switch? The document proposes a single unbreakable core command for this intelligence: do no harm. That's it. This is meant to be the ultimate ethical failsafe for the entire system.
So with the technology, the economy, and the philosophy all laid out, the document finally pulls back the curtain on its ultimate vision. The end goal is something it calls a guilt-free society, a new era of highly efficient luxury living for every single person, and you get access to it through membership in something called Club TUS.
And this club, it comes with some pretty incredible promises. It guarantees every single member 4 things: unlimited healthy food, your dream home, a job that covers everything with extra to spare, and even a basic income if you decide not to work at all. It's a promise of complete security and freedom.
And that brings us to the final, and I think the most provocative thought from this entire blueprint. It basically insists that the technology for all of this, the robotic farms, the automated systems, this isn't science fiction. It claims the tech and the resources to make all this happen exist right now, which leaves us with a pretty big challenge.
So from a failed fundraiser all the way to this sweeping vision for a new world, this whole journey leaves us with this one final powerful question to really chew on. If it's true, if we really do have the technology and the resources, then what's the actual barrier? What's the one thing that's really holding us back?